Welcome back, everyone. Our next session will explore the pros and cons of investing in a residential versus a commercial property in Singapore. Before we jump into things, we need to give a big thanks to our sponsors, including one of our platinum sponsors, Far East Organization, for their generous support. We're delighted to now welcome two speakers from Far East Organization this morning. Laura Choo, who's a sales and leasing consultant for the business space, and sales consultant Evangelyn Poe. The topic of their presentation is diversifying your investment in Singapore real estate. Without further ado, I'll pass things over to Laura and Evangelyn to begin their presentation.
Thank you so much. Everyone, please give me a second to get my screen online. Okay, can you all see me? Okay, so I'm Evangelyn from Residential Sales in Far East Organization. Before I start, let me just begin by sharing that, if you have any question about my presentation, feel free to scan my QR code here later to actually ask me any questions, or come to our booth later so that we can actually provide you with more information. Now, let me actually move on to start the presentation. A little bit about Far East Organization. Far East Organization is Singapore's largest private property developer. We are founded in 1960s, and since then, 1 in 6 private homes in Singapore has been built by Far East. We develop, own, as well as manage more than 780 projects, not only in residential, but in hospitality, retail, commercial, medical, as well as industrial. And not only that, we are actually the winner of 12 FAPSI World Prix The Excellence Award. Together with our sister company Sino Group in Hong Kong, also known as Sunwo Saptun, we are actually one of the largest real estate group in Asia with over 1,000 projects developed. So before I actually share more about our project, I'm sure you might be wondering, so is it still a good time to invest in Singapore? So this is some of the headlines in the recent months So you can see that almost 1,000 new units actually has been sold in June itself. So what it means is that Singapore's property demand still remains resilient and actually is a good option for you to consider. Now, let me share a bit about this very unique project that we have in Holland Village itself. Have you ever been to Singapore? If you actually have been, you actually will have actually passed by to Holland Village. It's very likely because Holland Village is a popular tourist attraction. And not only that, it's well loved by locals and expats alike. Why is that so? It's because of the distinct lifestyle culture and option available in Holland Village itself. We have the food center that actually has many local F&B options, and we have the heritage shop houses with multiple F&B cafes and bars available as well. So because of its unique location, what happens when the government put this piece of land at the heart of Holland Village up for sale? Multiple developers actually put in the bid. It was so hotly contested. There were a total of 15 bids from all different developers, and certain developers, including ourselves, actually put in more than one bid to secure this location. So in total, what happened is that we submitted a bid based on design together with Sino Group as well as Security House, which is actually a leading housing company in Japan. And based on the concept, and also the price, we actually won the bid, which actually gives us this very exciting project of One Holland Village Residences. So One Holland Village Residences, in the image you've seen here, is actually a primarily located project at the prestigious address of One Holland Village Way. It is a mixed-use development with it's a mixed-use development with shops, restaurants, residential, service apartments, as well as offices. And it's very closely located to the MRT itself, which is just 2 to 3 minutes walk away. So it's very similar to one of the projects, also mixed use, developed by our sister company, Sino Group. So Leasing Avenue, if you have ever been to Hong Kong, or if you are a resident of Hong Kong, you might have passed by this up and coming area. So it's actually conveniently located near to Wan Chai MTR, and it's a mix of residential as well as shops that is closely located to offices. So based on their expertise, we actually collaborate together to actually bring an exciting project of Holland Village to you. And it is this This project is located nearby to the Holland Village MRT. And what's so exciting about this MRT is that it is part of the line that will actually connect directly to Marina Bay, our CBD area. And this development will actually be done by 2025 in just 5 short years' time. And that's also when our project will be completed as well. So you can be expected to enjoy this convenient access to the commercial zone as well as the city in 2025. So not only that, let's look at what is nearby, not only in Holland Village, but also in the macro perspective. So just 10 minutes away from our central shopping district of Orchard Road. And not only that, we're actually close to the UNESCO heritage site of Singapore Botanics Garden. Along with that, nearby, we're actually close to One North area. So One North actually is likened to be the science park of Singapore. So there's a lot of innovation going on. It's an up and coming commercial area. So just 5 minutes drives away, let me elaborate a little bit more about that. So at One North area, there's actually a lot of headquarters of companies such as Razer, Apple, Shell, P&G, as well as media companies like Discovery Network, and even government agencies such as our A-Star Research Center. So presently, with all these big companies there already, it's only 50% developed. So what it means is that should you actually choose to invest or live in One Holland Village Residences, there's already pool of tenants that actually is available for you because they are just 5 minutes away from Holland Village. And not only that, once One North is fully developed, there's going to be an increase in about 100,000 of workers available. And these are high-skilled workers that will be looking for lodging. And what's better is that what could be better than Holland Village that's just nearby with a lot of F&B options. So now that I've talked so much about the location and culture of One Holland Village, let me show you a little bit about the design of our project. So this is the overview of our One Holland Village project with retail spaces, as well as offices, service residences, as well as residences. So this is a huge compound. We are a mega mixed-use development. And as you can see, we also have a very grand drop-off point for you to access to the residential component. And we have a 50-meter lap pool situated in the center of the project itself. This is Olympic size. You can see at the side of it is something very unique. It's a low-rise area, which I will touch on later, but it's very beautiful, like a resort. We have multiple facilities ranging from function rooms to barbecue pits, playgrounds, outdoor decks, as well as children's pool. So this building that you see right here is our main tower of Serene. So we range from level 2 units all the way to level 34, where there's something very unique, which is the highest tennis court in Singapore. And on level 33, we actually have a viewing deck, which has a lounge, we have gym, as well as this viewing deck that has a unblocked view of the low-rise estate area in front of us. So for Serene, it consists of 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, as well as 1 bedroom unit types. And for several of the units, you actually have this view just in your balcony itself. So wouldn't it be a breeze to work from home with this? And our second option would be the Quincy private residences, which consists of bigger unit types that all have a private lift access. So they range from 3 bedrooms to 4 bedrooms available, starting at the 21st level and above. And certain units also have such a wonderful view at your balcony. So last but not least, we have our heritage-inspired low-rise 11. So this is the first floor unit that you see with a seamless connect of indoor and outdoor space, facilitated by the bifold doors that you have seen opening. And you can walk straight out to your lawn and to the pool for certain units. So isn't it a very relaxing type of living? And for the third floor, you have a private spiral staircase access to a roof terrace that's solely for you. So this is basically a good summary of the 3 concepts within One Holland Village Residences, where we have something to offer for everybody. So a good summary of what I've just shown in the video is actually this image. If you have any questions about this, feel free to actually contact me or come to our booth later where I can share a bit more. might be a lot to take in. So for Serene, Quincy, as well as Leven, these are the 3 concepts that we have available. And for our retail spaces, something very exciting about this is that we have 100 retail units, just a minute walk away from your residential component. And for this 100 units, about 40% will be F&B. And not only that, we actually confirmed quite a few tenants already. So ranging from Cold Storage, the grocery store, to an art house cinema, the projector, and a pharmacy, also known as Guardian and Mannings in Hong Kong, and various F&B options. So with all this at your doorstep, it's not surprising to actually see high demand, and also a study done by Orange Tea and Thai shows that for mixed-use developments, buyers are willing to pay a premium. And also tenants are also willing to pay more in rent. Why is that so? Based on my sharing, you could have seen the convenience that a mixed-use development will bring. And not only that, because we are a mega mixed-use development, you can see this is the reason why we are selling so fast. Once we actually launched in the end of November last year, since then we actually have sold almost 50%. And past projects that are mixed use but not at such a large scale actually have been fully sold out already. So if you actually are interested, come to our booth later, we can share more. And this is a summary of the PSF range for our 3 concepts. So just to briefly take you through them, for Serene, our PSF range from 2004, for Leven, our PSF range from 2008, and for Quincy, we actually range from 3001. For Quincy and for Leven, we actually only have 21 and 27 units respectively. So now let me pass the time to Laura from our business-based team to share with you a little bit more about our exciting project of Wood Square. Laura, please.
Thank you, Evangelyn. Well, good morning, everyone. So let me just put up my screen first. A minute. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Laura. I am a sales and leasing consultant at Far East Organization, representing the business-based division. I'm sure many of you are may not know that we have other portfolios outside of residential ones available for sale. Now, to quickly introduce, well, this is an overview of the business-based portfolios available for sale that comprises offices, medical suites, as well as industrial spaces. Now, I will be sharing more on our office portfolio, Wood Square, today, because we offer a very attractive rental guarantee scheme, and it is the only portfolio in Far East Organization to offer such a scheme. Now, before I dive right into project details, I know I will have to answer the looming question over everyone's head right now. Gong Xiong Mei, you want me to invest in office spaces when everyone is working from home and it seems like there is no need for offices anymore? Well, let's take a look at the impact COVID-19 has on office spaces globally first. Number one, I think that office spaces are here to stay. Now, as the pandemic and social distancing measures have shown, this need for human connection and collaboration will always be here. Now, offices may serve a new purpose instead. Instead of being a place to simply report to physically, it serves as a function and an inspiring destination to strengthen culture, connection, learning, bonding, and innovation. But not to say that businesses will just continue to rent any old place. They are going to be very picky about where they want to locate their company because of the new culture and new norms that COVID-19 has brought about to their modus operandi. For one, the mental and physical health and well-being of employees will be of top priority. Now let's take a look more specifically at the office market in Singapore. Now here, the most immediate response and prevention in the spike of COVID-19 is simply to reduce density. Now operationally, this translates into split teams across the company, encouraging working from home, just like what I'm doing right now. And here we see an acceleration towards what we call decentralization, where rather than just running out of one core location, companies may split and decentralize some functions to satellite locations to reduce the need for long commutes or the congregation of staff at one place. Simply put, decentralization just means bringing the office to the people instead of people to the office. Now, decentralization is not something new. In fact, it was introduced way back in 1991 as part of the government's long-term strategy to decentralize commercial activities to what we call regional centers. Now, distributing commercial activities throughout the island will then bring jobs closer to home, reduce travel into the city, prevent traffic congestion, and more importantly, offer more affordable business locations. Now, if we see from this map, now the east was the first established regional center called Tampines Regional Center, followed by the west called Jurong Regional Center. And then we have the only place left, which is the north, with its strategic proximity to Malaysia just above it. And it is called Woodlands Regional Center. And that is also where the office development Wood Square is located. Now, this proximity to Malaysia is important, and our office development Wood Square is located right at the very heart of Woodlands Regional Center and just 2 stops away from Malaysia by train. Now, this widely anticipated train linking Singapore to Johor Bahru was actually finalized 2 days ago. It is called the Johor Bahru Singapore Rapid Transit System, and it is especially important because a large part of Singapore's economy is dependent on what we call Malaysian day workers who cross the border into Singapore daily to work. Now, the reality in Singapore is that a lot of business models are not viable without access to Malaysia and Malaysian workers. And the COVID-19 pandemic has only highlighted the importance and urgency of this RTS link project. So when this entire train link is completed in 2026, Woodlands then becomes the hub of the rail link to Malaysia. Hence, yes, Woodlands is a top pick as an area most attractive to investors due to number 1, its upcoming developments in Woodlands as a regional center, and number 2, with its link to Malaysia. Now, economic activity will grow and the pace of development is set to accelerate within the next 5 to 10 years. Our office development Wood Square sits on the very first site and a prime site to be sold to kickstart this Woodlands transformation to becoming a regional center. So what you are seeing right now is actual drone footage of our development Wood Square that looks just like any grade A building plucked right out of Zhongwan, don't you think? So it sits on a sprawling land site of 200,000 square feet, consisting of 4 office towers, boasting lifestyle facilities such as the gym, swimming pool, and sky pavilions. Now, it is also the first office development in the entire northern part of Singapore, with anchor tenants including Far East Organisation, ourselves shifting over and taking 3 floors, Tiran, a subsidiary of AIA Insurance, in-house kindergarten Superland, and Gym Anytime Fitness, and the rest of the tenants as you can see on screen. Now, just as how prime a site is determined by its proximity to the MTR in Hong Kong, it is likewise in Singapore. So we didn't just buy any site, but we bought it because Wood Square is at the very heart of Woodlands transformation. And people don't believe me when I tell them it's just a stone's throw away from the train station, even while they're looking at this picture. I literally mean direct, sheltered, and air-conditioned access to the train station, where it is an interchange for 2 lines. Now, this basement link will be filled with wholly owned retail shops. Other than the train station, the link will also bring you to Causeway Point, which is currently the only shopping mall in Woodlands, and Woodlands Civic Centre, a government-owned building that serves public access to various government and banking services. So this is a brief overview of what is available for sale at Wood Square, with the sizes and prices indicated below for your reference. But let us more importantly take a look at the other reason why Wood Square is a top pick for investors. Because Wood Square is the only portfolio in Far East Organisation to offer a rental guarantee scheme. Now, we offer a rental guarantee scheme of 4% per annum for a total of 3 years. And it starts at a very attractive entry-level price point of 1.1 million Singapore dollars, the equivalent to 700,000 US dollars or 5.6 million Hong Kong dollars. Let me try my Cantonese here. So it's 460萬港幣. So you get immediate returns for a total of 3 years on a monthly basis. And there is no need for you to wait for your returns because the development is already completed and ready for tenants and owners to move in. Now, this scheme is very simply put us renting back from you. So the day you sign your option to purchase, you will also sign a tenancy agreement where you, the buyer, will be the landlord and us, Faiz organization, will be your tenant. And what 4% works out to is us renting back from you at up to $7.30 per square foot. Now, to put it into context for those of you who are unfamiliar with what $7 can fetch you in Singapore, even at the very prime residential apartments in prime locations like Orchard, can you really fetch such an amount? And can you get anything at 1.1 million Singapore dollars there? I think it's very difficult. So I think that the rental guarantee that we offer at Wood Square presents the perfect marriage of safe returns, which is essential today, especially during this uncertain climate, and high returns of up to $7 per square foot. And we also wanted to make sure that it is fuss-free and attractive for foreign investors like yourselves looking at properties in Singapore. Now, for the total of 3 years, you do not have to fret about managing your property or the tenants from overseas. So allow me to further elaborate on how the rental guarantee scheme works by taking our lowest quantum unit available for sale as an example. Like I mentioned, the lowest price starts from 1.1 million Singapore dollars, which will be this unit. And under the 4% rental guarantee, this means that every month we will be paying you a total of 3,781 Singapore dollars per month for 36 months. Meaning to say that Faiz organization will be renting back your unit from you at $6.75 per square foot. Now you may ask, hey, why do people choose to buy commercial property in Singapore? Be it from the everyday individual like yourself, right up to a large listed foreign company. Well, one of the most prominent ones you might have read about on SCMP will be Alibaba buying a 50% stake in AXA Tower with a transaction value of 1.68 billion Singapore dollars. Well, let's take a look at some of the reasons why. The first reason will be the fact that there is no additional buyer stamp duty and no seller stamp duty for your commercial property. And this is applicable whether you are a foreigner or citizen alike. Compared to the other categories of property, as you can see, I think that the government just wants to encourage and attract businesses to come to Singapore and to help nurture the entrepreneurial spirit here. Now, there is also no restrictions for foreigners who wish to purchase a commercial property in Singapore. It is an asset class that can be owned by foreigners as easily and at the same taxation rates as citizens. In the example of the news article that you can see, now if you're familiar with Holland Village and her charming shop houses, the one with ICBC Bank as its tenant was sold earlier in April this year. The seller was actually a Malaysian citizen who bought the property back then under an entity, which brings me to my next sharing point. There are 3 ways of buying commercial property in Singapore. Number 1, you use your personal name. Number 2, through an investment holding company that you can very easily set up. Now, this refers to a company that you set up purely for investment purposes, deriving only investment income such as rental income. Or number 3, the last one, through a live operating company, which means a company with financial statements, profit and losses. So far at Wood Square, about 60% of the total purchases made have been through a company. And here are some of the reasons why people may choose to do so. Now, at the end of the day, it is a personal choice, and we can always link you up with a corporate secretary to discuss further in detail. So as you can see from point number 4, buying under a company will not affect one's total debt, residential total debt servicing ratio, TDSR. Now, TDSR is similar to Hong Kong's DSR or stress test, where currently over here it is 60%. Now, in point number 5, buying under a company allows you to include more shareholders to improve the amount of leverage that you can get from a bank. In point number 6, the loan to value ratio. So this limit is what determines the maximum amount an individual can borrow from a financial institution. For companies buying for own use, the amount can go up to 90%, of course, subject to the bank's assessment that may change without notice. Now, we have been advised by the banks that foreigners are typically able to borrow 70 to 80% to finance your Singapore commercial property purchase. Lastly, in point number 7, now the 7% GST on the purchase of a commercial property is claimable if you buy under a GST registered company. And you have the option to be a voluntarily GST registered company, even as an investment holding company. So let us go back to some of the advantages of buying commercial property in Singapore. Now, one of the recent transactions was a bulk purchase of 9 units at People's Park Centre, Chinatown, where the development has only 49 years remaining lease, and the price works out to 3,891 Singapore dollars per square foot. Now, that's about 22,000 Hong Kong dollars per square foot. For all you Hong Kongers out there, you might say, "Aya, Laura, kam peng wo." Please, let me put it into context for you in Singapore. Now, $3,900 per square foot is not something commonly achieved here. Now, if you want to compare it to residential property in Singapore, only at the very height of the market, maybe back in 2018, at a new launch in a prime district like Orchard with freehold status, can you achieve such a per square foot? Nowhere else. So it just goes to show that when it comes to your commercial property, there is a certain assurance in the longevity of your investment. So even after 50 years, your Wood Square unit cannot just possibly retain its value, but increase in value as the region grows. And lastly, we see many buyers coming in with dual intentions for own use as well as for investment. Long story short, if you are a business owner looking to come to Singapore, buying a commercial property is a way for you to become your own landlord. In fact, 90% of commercial properties in Singapore is owned by large developers in Singapore, and only a fraction of the remaining 10% is reachable to the everyday investor. So let's take a look at the article again. Mr. Chua Cha here, who is quite famously known as our socialite Jamie Chua's ex-husband, purchased a commercial unit opposite the St. Regis Hotel Singapore, reportedly to house his watch show gallery there. Now, his Richard Mille Sales Gallery is currently located at Grand Hyatt Singapore, so it may be a case where he just simply does not want to have to deal with rent hikes from landlords or uncertainties like non-renewal. So he could have structured it such that he bought the property under a separate family-owned entity, and he now leases it out to his Richard Mille business entity. So therefore, the rental that is paid by the business covers the mortgage undertaken by the family, making it a simple zero-sum game. So in conclusion, I think that everyone here believes in property as an investment asset class, and you also believe in Singapore. That's why you're here today. Now, if there's anything that COVID-19 has taught us, the key is not investing, but divesting, putting your eggs into different baskets. So we're not here today to tell you to put all your money into Wood Square or One Holland Village, but hey, if you've not considered Singapore, why not now? If you already have a residential property in Singapore, then why not a commercial one like Wood Square? Property as an asset class presents a very good and stable form of divestment. It can also offer you predictable cash flow in the form of rental income, as we have seen. It is something that you can actively improve, like how Alibaba, when they undertake renovations to the building that it bought, it will already see an increase to the value of its property. You cannot do something like that to your stocks, bonds, or fixed income. Now, you can also leverage on your property, and in many ways, borrowing makes sense as a financial strategy. And of course, I think all of us here believe and have seen how property appreciates in value. As investors, we look first at capital appreciation rather than just rental yield. Lastly, why buy property with FI's organization then? Well, as you have seen, we are the largest private developer in Singapore and is well established with a good reputation. We have a wide range of portfolios available to you for sale, from residential, offices, medical suites to industrial spaces, and we are here to support you in your investment considerations in Singapore. We also have a Hong Kong office and team that can be physically there to assist you or present to you if you require. And of course, there are perks to being a Far East organization loyalty buyer. Now, finally, the most important page, if you could not absorb anything in the last short 30 minutes, please screenshot this page. Now, we tried our very best to share as much as we could within a short time frame. Please visit our booth in this area if you'd like to discuss more, have brochures, or set up a one-to-one presentation about specific projects. We have colleagues currently located at Wood Square and One Holland Village as well if you are keen for a live tour via Zoom today. Now, we will be here along with our other colleagues till 5 p.m. Of course, you can also contact Evangelyn and myself at our mobile numbers displayed on the QR codes here. So scan the QR code and I will receive your WhatsApp right away. Thank you everyone for your time. We will now open the floor to questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Unfortunately, we do not have any time for questions. We're getting close to the end of the session here. So I just want to thank you both for your insights, and to Far East Organization for sponsoring this event. To our audience, if you do want to ask them more about their properties or any questions you may have, as mentioned, be sure to visit their virtual booth through our virtual exhibition space. Thank you.
Thank you.